The desert night swallowed the horizon in a deep, endless blue. The stars above glowed like cold embers, silent witnesses to thousands of years of forgotten stories. The air was still, too still, and the sands around the excavation site formed low waves like a frozen ocean. The team gathered near the entrance of the chamber, their lanterns casting trembling circles of light on the ancient stones. No one spoke at first. The discovery they made earlier, the impossible black doorway, hung over them like a shadow, a mystery so heavy that even the wind refused to touch it. Dr. Samira Nahir stood closest, her hand hovering inches from the door's surface. She could feel a faint vibration, like the heartbeat of something enormous and buried. Her breath came out in steady clouds, even though the desert night wasn't cold enough for that. Behind her, Tomas, the youngest archaeologist, shifted nervously. Dr. Nahir, the symbols, they weren't glowing before, right? Samira didn't look back. She simply whispered, "No, they weren't." The symbols, yes. The carvings around the doorway pulsed with a soft blue light that moved like liquid under stone. There were not any scripts Samira had encountered, and she had spent her life studying ancient writing from Mesopotamia, Egypt, the Indus Valley, and dozens of forgotten cultures. These symbols were more geometric, cleaner, intentional in a way that felt almost modern. But the strangest part? They matched nothing from the region, nothing from the time period, nothing from any known human culture. It was as if someone had dragged knowledge from the future and buried it in the past. Samira's fingers finally brushed the doorway. The surface was warm, warm underground, at night under meters of sand. "Impossible," she whispered. But impossible things didn't wait for permission. They had already begun. The first echo. The moment her palm rested fully on the door, a low hum filled the chamber. Deep, soft, yet powerful enough to make dust fall from the ceiling. The blue light along the symbols brightened. The vibration grew stronger. Tomas stepped back. Maybe we should stop. But Samira felt something else now. A sound, faint, almost like whispering. Her heartbeat quickened. She pressed her ear to the door, ignoring the shocked gasps from her team. The whispers grew louder. Not language, not speech. More like echoes. Echoes of footsteps. Echoes of shouts. Echoes of panic. Echoes of a city dying. She stepped back sharply, nearly losing her balance. "What did you hear?" Tomas asked. Samira swallowed. "History." The team looked at one another. Then came the sound. A soft click, ancient mechanisms waking from their long sleep. Everyone froze. The black stone split down the middle, and the door began to open. The chamber beyond. A rush of stale air escaped the opening, smelling like dust, salt, and something metallic. Their lantern flames flickered wildly. The hum stopped, replaced by a quiet, so deep it felt unnatural. Samira lifted her lantern and stepped inside. The chamber beyond was enormous. A vast underground hall stretched out before them, its ceiling held up by towering pillars carved with the same strange symbols. But what shocked the team most wasn't the size. It was the construction. The walls were perfectly smooth, machine smooth, not chipped, carved, or hammered. Smooth like polished metal or glass, yet clearly made of stone. No ancient tools known to history could have done this. To Samira, it felt like walking into a contradiction. A structure far older than the pyramids, built with techniques more advanced than anything humans developed until thousands of years later. Her voice trembled. This changes everything. As they moved deeper, their lanterns illuminated murals carved into the lower walls. Murals showing a great city, buildings with towering spires, bridges that arched like ribs of a giant beast, and people, thousands of them, walking through wide streets, carrying baskets, tools, scrolls. A civilization advanced, organized, thriving, Tomas whispered, but we've never seen anything like this in recorded history. Exactly, Samira said softly. That's the problem. They walked farther. The murals changed. The thriving streets became empty, then broken, then burned. The final mural showed people fleeing toward a giant doorway, the same as the one they opened moments before. Samira felt a chill crawl up her spine. They sealed themselves inside, she said. Whoever they were, they sealed the door from within. The first artifact. At the center of the chamber was a raised stone platform. Resting on it was an object covered in layers of sand and cloth. Samira brushed away the top layer, revealing a rectangular slab carved with symbols and diagrams. Tomas studied it. It looks like a map. Samira nodded. A map of their world. The slab showed coastlines similar to modern maps: Africa, Asia, Europe, yet different. Rivers in places where none exist today. Islands that were now underwater. Entire landmasses gone. It's prehistoric, Tomas whispered, but too accurate. Samira touched the map. It's not prehistoric. It's pre-record. Meaning, a civilization older than every known civilization. One erased long before humans learned how to write history. Before anyone could process this, a sharp crack echoed across the chamber. Everyone turned. The door behind them was closing. Slowly, silently, inevitably. No, no, and oh! Tomas raced to the entrance. Samira grabbed his arm. Don't run. You'll make the floor unstable. But it was too late. The black stone door closed with a heavy, final thud. They were sealed inside, just like the ancient people. The collapse of understanding. Tomas slammed his fist against the door. We're trapped. This can't be happening. Samira tried to stay calm, but her breath shook. There has to be a mechanism. Everything built here had purpose. As she moved toward the center of the chamber to think, something on the map slab caught her eye. A symbol, one she recognized. A spiral. The same spiral found in cave paintings in France, in Australia, in Africa, in nearly every ancient culture across the world. But here had meaning. Below the spiral, carved in precise shapes, was a pictogram showing something moving from the sky to the earth, like ash falling from the heavens. Her mouth went dry. It's a volcanic event, she whispered. This civilization predicted one. A massive one. Tomas backed away. But predicting eruptions wasn't possible back then. Samira shook her head slowly. No, Tomas, you're missing the point. She touched the spiral gently. They survived one. The team stared at her, horror growing in their eyes. Because if they survived an ancient eruption powerful enough to reshape continents, what kind of eruption was it? And what happened after? The lost diary. While others searched for a way out, Samira studied the walls more closely. Near the base of one pillar, she noticed a small stone chest. She knelt and opened it carefully. Inside were thin slabs of clay arranged like pages in a book. Each slab was carved with symbols. Some were mathematical. Others depicted simple stories. It was a diary from a forgotten civilization. She read the first sequence of drawings. People watching smoke rise from a distant mountain. Animals fleeing. Rivers boiling. Cities collapsing. Then the next, survivors gathering deep underground. Builders creating a massive chamber. Craftsmen sealing a door to protect what remained. Then the final sequence. A man kneeling. A woman tracing the spiral symbol. Both looking upward at a darkened sky. A sky covered in ash. Samira closed the diary softly. They weren't running from war, she whispered. They were running from nature. The turning point. The ground trembled. A deep, distant rumble shook dust from the ceiling. The lantern flames leapt wildly, then steadied. The team froze. An earthquake? Tomas whispered. Samira shook her head slowly. No, something deeper, something older. Another tremor, then a third. The pillars groaned like old bones shifting under the weight of forgotten centuries. Suddenly, the murals along the far wall glowed faintly, as though heat rose behind them. The same eerie blue light shimmered across the surface, forming shapes, lines, symbols, not warnings, instructions. Tomas stepped forward. It's teaching us. A loud cracking sound cut him off. The floor split open in a jagged line. Samira leapt back as a section of stone collapsed into darkness. The tremors grew stronger. Samira's mind raced. The ancient city, The murals of fleeing people, the sealed doorway, the underground chamber, the map showing altered coastlines, the diary describing a massive eruption, everything connected. They weren't hiding from the eruption, she said. They were preparing for aftershocks, long-term instability. She looked up sharply. This chamber is collapsing for the same reason it did thousands of years ago. Panic surged through the group. How do we get out? Tomas shouted. Samira turned toward the glowing instructions. There must be an exit, a secondary door. They wouldn't trap themselves permanently. She traced the glowing lines. They formed a path, the shape of a spiral. Follow me, she yelled. The team ran along the walls, following the spiral path. The ground shook violently. Stones crashed from above. Sand poured in through cracks. They reached the far wall. Samira pressed her hand against the center of a glowing spiral. A deep rumble answered. The wall began to sink into the floor, revealing a dark corridor. Tomas shouted, "Go!" The team sprinted into the corridor as the main chamber collapsed behind them, crushing murals, pillars, and the map slab into dust. The rumbling deepened. The corridor shook. Samira ran faster, lantern swinging wildly, heart pounding. Ahead, she saw light, faint but real. And then, the corridor opened into a second chamber, smaller, circular, a single pedestal at its center. On it sat a stone tablet, cracked but intact. Samira approached it slowly. The tablet was carved with simple, clear symbols, easier to understand, almost like the last message of a dying people. Her lantern illuminated the final carving. Her breath caught in her throat, because the tablet showed something no one expected. It showed a calendar, a timeline. The last line marked a catastrophic event, and beside it, a second line, a prediction. Her voice cracked. "Oh my God!" Tomas stepped beside her. "What is it?" Samira turned the lantern so the entire team could see the final symbol. A symbol marking a future disaster. A disaster predicted by a civilization lost to time. A disaster that, according to the date, had not happened yet. The ground roared beneath them. The chamber lights flared. The sands above began to collapse. And as the ceiling cracked open, Samira screamed over the noise. "We opened something we were never meant to find.